stumble across these plants, quite unassuming really, but they hold some pretty surprising stories in traditional medicine.
Absolutely.
Like this one, Indian nettle or Acalypha indica. Not exactly a household name for remedies, maybe,
Probably not for most, no.
but we've been digging into some older homeopathic literature, specifically William Boericke's Materia Medica.
A classic source.
Right. And it turns out this plant has really interesting traditional profile described in there. So our mission today is basically to unpack those insights, see what Boericke highlighted.
Sounds good. Yeah, Boricke's work points to Acalypha indica having a significant effect on two main areas: the digestive system, what he calls the alimentary canal, and the respiratory system.
Okay, the gut and the lungs.
Exactly. And its traditional uses seem quite specific within those systems.
All right, let's dive into that. The source really emphasizes its use for something called incipient phthisis. Now, that's a bit as an old fashioned term, isn't it?
It is. Think early stage tuberculosis or, similar conditions where the lungs are wasting away.
Gotcha. And what's really striking, I thought, was the very specific set of symptoms Boric links to it. What kind of jumps out at you there?
Well, the combination is key. You've got this hard racking cough and bloody spit hemoptysis is the term, even potentially arterial bleeding.
Wow, okay. Serious stuff.
But, and this is crucial, the text specifically says without fever. That absence of fever alongside bleeding is a standout detail.
No fever. Interesting. And in homeopathy, these patterns, like when symptoms get worse or better, they call them modalities, right? Very important.
Precisely, they're critical guideposts.
Speaking of patterns, there's this really peculiar description of weakness. Feeling like totally drained in the morning, but actually getting stronger as the day goes on.
Yeah, that's quite the turnaround, isn't it?
It really is. What's the significance of that specific timing, do you think?
Well, connecting it back, this daily variation, this diurnal pattern, is a big clue in homeopathic prescribing. Add that to the progressive emaciation, the gradual wasting away that Boericke also mentions.
Right, I saw that too.
It paints a picture of a very specific kind of chronic weakness, one with a clear daily rhythm.
And it seems this morning thing isn't just the weakness. The text says all pathological hemorrhages are worse in the morning. That sounds like a really strong theme.
It is. It's a very strong indicator. This worse in the morning modality becomes almost a signature for Acalypha indica in this text.
Okay, so let's look closer at the chest symptoms then. The cough is described as dry, hard, leading to that bleeding we mentioned.
Yes, and worse in the morning and at night. So the middle of the day might offer some relief, potentially.
And there's constant severe chest pain mentioned too.
Right. Plus, the detail about the blood itself changing bright red in the morning, then becoming dark and clotted in the afternoon.
That's incredibly specific.
It is. These tiny details build the picture. Boericke also notes a soft, easily compressed pulse and these burning feelings.
Oh yeah, the burning. Where was that?
Running from the pharynx down the esophagus into the stomach, it suggests irritation all the way down.
Okay, so it links back to the digestive system focus too.
Exactly. It shows a kind of systemic irritation lining up with that action on the alimentary canal.
And then moving further down into the abdomen, more burning, this time in the intestines.
Yep, the burning theme continues.
And then there's this rather vivid description: spluttering diarrhea with forcible expulsion of noisy flatus.
Yes, quite descriptive. You don't really forget a symptom phrase like that.
Definitely not. Plus, things like bearing down pains, straining tenesmus rumbling, griping pains, and again, rectal hemorrhage.
And crucially,
Worse in the morning. It just keeps coming back to that timing.
it really does. It reinforces that central modality across different body systems. The gut symptoms really solidify that picture alongside the respiratory ones.
Even the skin gets a mention, though, briefly. Jaundice, itching, and these localized boil-like swellings.
Right. It shows that holistic view, seemingly unrelated symptoms, might still be part of the remedy's overall picture.
So if we boil it down, the big takeaway modality-wise is definitely worse in the morning.
Absolutely. That's the key characteristic woven throughout.
Now, Boericke also lists a few other remedies for comparison, doesn't he? To help differentiate.
Yes, he mentions millefolium, phosphorus, acetic acid, and kaolinite. These might share some symptoms, like hemorrhage perhaps, but would differ in the overall pattern or other specifics.
Helps practitioners narrow it down. And he mentions dosage too, the 3rd to 6th potency. Can you quickly explain what potency means here?
Sure, in homeopathy, potency relates to how much the original substance has been diluted and succussed or shaken. Third to sixth are considered relatively low potencies in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, got it. So wrapping this up, our deep dive into Boericke shows Acalypha indica in traditional homeopathy as being used for these specific lung and gut issues,
Often involving bleeding.
often involving bleeding, yeah, notably without fever and with this really strong characteristic of symptoms being worse in the morning.
That sums it up nicely. And, it kind of leaves you with a question, doesn't it?
Oh,
How might understanding these super detailed symptom patterns from traditional sources, even historical ones like this, maybe inform how we think today about the body's natural rhythms, circadian rhythms, and how illness might manifest differently at different times of day?
mm, that's a great point. It really highlights the incredible level of detailed observation that went into these old texts. They were really paying attention to those subtle daily shifts. Definitely food for thought.